Hello and welcome to anyone and everyone who's decided to watch this video. Today, more Blockies, more Ultraman Blockies with Galaxy Wave 5, the hero named Z. Z, Zet, whichever one you want to say. I guess it's technically Zet. I'm gonna call him Z for this video, just because. And, no boxes this time. I just had to get rid of them. Look, recycling day was coming up. I just decided to get rid of them. But you know, it's another Blockies wave. Here's all the figures. They come with the same type of stands. Some of the monsters don't get the holder thing for flying. You get it. Here's the figures. Oh, and no chase figure. Again, I don't really care about the chase figures, but the chase figure is basically this guy, Delta, whatever his name was, this version of Z from Wave 3, but in, like, focus on him, camera, focus. But in, like, black and gray, so it was a recolor of this guy that I don't think is even in the show at any point. I definitely know is not in the show at any point. Maybe it shows up in, like, a future thing, or it's just a made-up color scheme they did for fun. But anyway, on to the proper wave, and I said Wave 5. No Wave 4, we're again skipping a wave, but this time not by choice, because for some reason, when it came to bringing these Ultraman sets over internationally, Blockies decided to skip Wave 4, which upsets me, because Wave 4 is the Jeed wave, and I love Jeed. He's one of my favorite Ultramans ever since I have decided to get into Ultraman, but at least this wave did come with a Jeed, and it's one of my favorite versions of Jeed. But we will talk about him later. We will start off with the face of this wave, the boy himself, Ultraman Z. Here he is in his default form, and yeah, he's looking pretty good here. I really like his design. I'm a big fan of the blue Ultras. Ooh, the camera is being really weird today. That's annoying. And yeah, he looks really nice here. He's got a very youthful football player-like feel to him, which is probably intentional because there is that line in the show about how he's only 5,000 years old, and that for Ultras, that is like a human turning 18. So, yeah, he's definitely supposed to be a youngin'. He is the foster son of Ultraman Ace. I believe that's correct. I believe it is Ace. So he is the child of another one of the original Ultras. One day, every one of them's going to have a boy of their own. And that's just retconned in there. Zero will not be the only one, and there will be many more. But yeah, Z is one of those, and he's really cool. I like his striping with all the silvers and blacks. As usual, it is a little bit faded over the blue. It looks a little bit more whitish, but that's fine. I've gotten used to that with all the Blockies. He's got the little red on his feet. Nice little touch. Again, makes him look very sporty, very football player-like. He's got his big shoulder pads. I really like the details on his chest armor. It's pretty nice. And his slugger was separate in the packaging, but once it's on there, so you can't really take it off, and you wouldn't need to, because he never takes his off in the series anyway. And yeah, I gave him the fisted hands. He's also got the chopping hands, blah, blah, blah. We don't really need to show it off every single time with every little figure, but yeah, default Z, very nice. I really like him. I think he's very well done. And next, let's look at the robot for the wave, his girlfriend, Sevenger, or more correctly, one of the robots that was piloted by his lady friend for the organization the both of them worked for. And yeah, this is pretty fun, pretty cool to see. I do like the design of this giant trash can. The one problem with it, though, is the torso comes apart very easily. So now you can see Sevenger naked. Oh no! Oops, took him apart right there. Didn't mean to do that. And that's annoying, especially because I like moving his head around. And that's probably the thing that separates it the most, is playing around with that head ball joint just because I like the look of the movement of it. And yeah, the arms can still go fully freely when it's got the armor on. The legs are obviously restricted as heck, which actually they're getting some pretty decent movement there as I'm holding it together, so maybe not. I mean, they're still limited, but like you can get what you need out of those hips. So it's pretty nice. He's got this golden disc on his belly, as usual. He's got his jetpack back here. Very well done. I like the Sevenger robot design a lot. I like it more than Windom, just comparing it to the robots it worked with. I think my favorite is the King Joe redesign. Sadly, Blokees does not have a version of the Z variant of King Joe, but we got Sevenger. Sevenger was probably the one they were going to do. It was the most likely, and I think it's really done well here. Look at him with his sad eyes. I think it's a pretty fun one. I just wish this could stay together better. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. Pretty good. So for aliens and monsters, we've also got this guy, Kekleon Kerrigan, the one that eats money. The really annoying one. I've never enjoyed this alien in like any series it has shown up in that I have watched. I find it very annoying, but it's a pretty decently done toy. It's got all the movement in the arms, nothing restricted here. It's got little mitten hands to correctly represent the suit. It's got the unique legs that most of these aliens and monsters do, where it has no knees, but it can shimmy so he can dance. He can, oops, pulled off his foot. He can dance for you. He can dance. It works better when he's on the ground, but yeah, he can dance around, and yeah, he's got his little tail here. This is a separate piece that can come off, but I don't know. You probably just want to leave it still. You're not really supposed to rotate it or anything, but you can. Same thing with the head. You can technically rotate it at the neck, but you're really just taking it off. So yeah, and his mouth can actually hold a coin in it. It's big enough to shove one in there, but again, it's not supposed to. You're just gonna split it open. So yeah, you can see that. That's probably horrifying. But he's got his big clam head here, and you can technically shove coins in there, but you're not really supposed to. His beady stalk eyes. Very, very creepy little guy. And he's got this little name tag thing with the dots. I don't know if that was like specific to the one that was in Zet, because I know he doesn't normally wear those. And I didn't rewatch his episode of Zet because it's just the clip show, in case you didn't watch the previous episode of the show. So I mean, if I ever go back and rewatch that, I'll probably just skip the one with this guy in it because it is completely useless. So yeah, he's a decent figure. If you like this alien, you're gonna like this representation of him, I think. But I'm not a big fan of this alien guy. I don't really find the character fun at all. But I think it's a pretty decent toy. Pretty decent. Very well done. And we'll get Trigger out of the way. I got my first Trigger since I skipped Wave 2, the Trigger wave. But this wave has given us Evil Trigger. And, yeah, I don't completely remember this look. I think this is him at the very end of the series, when he looks like this, where he's got the black instead of the bluish purple here, when he's almost corrupted during the final battle. I think that's what this version of Trigger is here. And he looks pretty nice. I like the contrast of the silver and the black for his body, his bright yellow and red sigils on his boots. That's pretty neat, very striking. I really like the look here, like he's got a necklace with this gold wrapping around his neck and going to his color timer. It really invokes that for me. His head feels very squished because it's It's like taller than a normal head for a Blokees Ultra, like slightly taller and slightly thinner, so that feels a bit off to me. That's a bit weird. I'm not a big fan of that. And as you can see, again, he's got the fists and the chopping hands. I gave him one of each. And he comes with the Spacium Beam effect, so he can go at any enemies he wants. And his is purple. It's the same one as in the first wave, so it's very flat, no detail at all. I believe some of the later waves do introduce a more detailed version of it, finally. But for now, we still have this very flat version, and I appreciate it. Regardless, I just wish we had detail here. I really wish the beam was detailed. But I still am really glad we have the Spacium Beam effect for some Ultras anyway, and I like having it in purple. I think this is a unique version of Trigger. I'd probably be more into this if I got the Trigger Wave, because I did enjoy the Trigger show, but I think for the sake of condensing a collection and not spending money on everything, it made sense to skip the Trigger Wave for me personally. I mean, you might think Trigger is the greatest Ultra ever, and hey, that's cool for you. You should get the Trigger Wave. I only really wanted Glitter Trigger, and I just couldn't buy the whole wave for one character. I am gonna have to figure out how to get a Glitter Trigger eventually. But for now, we will go on back to Z, whichever, with this version. I don't remember what this form is called. I kind of completely forgot he even had this form until I got this mock set. It's the form that left the least of an impression on me. Yeah, it looks alright here. It's got kind of a bit of a mess here going on, because now he's primarily red, but he's got some purplish blues in him. The parts that are casted in the color are more purple, whereas the parts printed on, however they make these details for these guys, are more bluish, so that's a bit of an inconsistency. Or maybe he really is like that in the show. No, I don't think he is. I think these parts are just blue in the show, and if I remember correctly, because he transforms with coins that have pictures of the other Ultras on him. This had like Tiga, Dinah, and somebody else, because he uses free coins for every transformation. So this is meant to invoke Tiga, I think, because it does have Tiga's crest and everything, like the gold crest like Tiga. But yeah, I'm not too into this form. I like that this one comes with his weapon, his changer thing, because he can use this in any form. This isn't exclusive to this one, but toy-wise, this one came with the thing, and it's technically not detailed on this side, but on this side you can see more of the detail, like the part where he puts in the discs. I believe that's this part right here. Then he's got this little center area that, if I remember correctly, I think he could shoot beams out of this, but it is primarily a blade, so he can go slashy, slashy, slashy with it. And it's cool that we got his weapon. I like that we got his changer weapon thing with one of the forms. And yeah, he's definitely my least favorite version of the character, but I still think this is alright. But of all the Ultras, of the 5 Ultras in this wave, I do think he is my least favorite of them. He's just a little messy. Like, this is a lot going on here, detail-wise, and I don't really think it's working. I think he could have used another draft design-wise, but this is what we got. It's what he looks like, so yeah. And next we'll go to probably the biggest disappointment of this wave, the alien Barossa. A big alien threat from the Z show, and I don't like how this one was done. It's got very nice detail, but it comes apart very easily at the waist, and that's probably because it has this skirt piece that just adds an extra division between the legs and the torso. And it just makes it so easy for him to come apart for some reason. He just pops open so much more than the other characters, and it's really annoying. He's got all blue legs. He's got the pointy feet. And yeah, he's just going to keep doing that. He does that every time I pick him up. I like the wings. The wings are pretty cool. All nice and gold. Very, very well done color of gold plastic. Big gold arms. Separate pieces to give him his spikes. I love the detailing for the head. Oh, it looks good. It looks so good. I'd argue the head detail here looks cooler on this than it did on the actual show costume. That's not even an insult to the show costume. That's just a compliment to the toy, but he just comes apart all the freaking time. And it's very, very upsetting. So, probably my least favorite of the wave just because he can't stay together. He's just too loose at the torso. So, the Barossa looks wonderful, but I do think he's the weakest of the set, sadly. So, we'll just put him back here. Oh, no. No. Ruining everything. No. You stand, Trigger Evil. You stand. Get G'd facing forward. And we'll move on to the next one. With our final form of Z, the Beta Smash form. And this one was very interestingly done. I kind of appreciate it, but still not the best. I do think Default is the best of the free Zs we got in this wave. But I do like how Beta Smash was done here. Now, when he gets into this form in the show, he gets like really buff. And they tried to emulate that by making these new thigh pieces for him. So he's got muscular thighs, no extra beef on his arms. They did paint in the abs onto the torso to try to emulate that. So that's pretty nice. And yeah, the rest of the legs are pure red aside for this little crest thing on the front of them, which, that's basically how this looks. And he's got his staff weapon thing, and this uses the same parts that Ribbit's spear did, aside for the top part, of course. That's got the little ornate decoration thing here, so he can slash this around, hook it onto monsters, and beat them up, bludgeon them to death with his big spiky trident staff thing. So yeah, and it's only detailed on the one side, the other side, no paint, little hollow bits for some reason. So that's just how it is. And yeah, I do think it's cool that he has it. This bottom part is falling off quite a bit, though. It doesn't always stay on. I mean, quite a bit. It's not falling off that much, but it has happened from time to time. He does have limited movement in the arms because he's got the shoulder pads. I'm curious to see if this gets fixed later on, because I know some of the most recent waves have improved articulation, so I'm curious to see if the shoulder pad limitations are completely fixed or not. He again has an extra torso overlay to give him his crest, and he's got his little dotted shield thing, kind of Zoffy-like. Was Zoffy one of the Ultras he used for, like, the coins? I remember he used Ultra 7 for this form, but that's the only one I remember. He's also got, like, his little wrestling mask here. He looks very silly, but I kind of like it. He's got extra spiky ears in this form. I do like this head design for this form a lot. This form's very fun. It's very unique. It's not my favorite of Z's forms, both in terms of this toy line and in the show, but I do think it looks pretty nice. I like the head design, and I do still think this is a good figure. It's just not my favorite. I think this one's pretty fun. I think it's done pretty well. I'm curious to see if they'll ever reuse these bulky thighs ever again on another character, because I don't know. I assume they were made just for him. Maybe that other Blokees line that's like an original IP. Maybe that's used these before. But I think he's done pretty well. I think Beta Smash got a decent translation. Maybe not a perfect one, but a decent one. And yeah, I think that's pretty nice. And we'll just quickly try to get all the forms of Z together. We got the 3 that were in this wave right here, and we'll bring in Delta Rise again. Put him here. So we have the 4 forms of Z all together. This guy's not really looking straight. So you can see a little evolution of Z here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have all the forms here. It's really nice, unless there's one I've completely forgotten about. But I think these are all his forms. Unless I'm misremembering, these are all his forms. And it's nice to see the bit of evolution here. I definitely like his default form and his Delta form the best. This is my least favorite. And then Beta is still pretty cool. He's still pretty cool looking. It's very unique, but I just like these 2 more. So, yeah, there's that. And we will get to our last monster of the wave, and the best monster of the wave, with Red King, a classic Ultra monster, and he is so well done. My favorite monster in Blokees so far. Again, his legs, custom legs, got a little bit of hip movement, and that's it. Rotation at the foot. Arms, completely normal Blokees arms. Big overlay, nothing at the head, but he's got tail movement as well, so he can swing around this big old tail, and yeah, it is pretty hollow, but I don't know. He's just very fun. He's very, very fun to handle. He's just very simple, very nice little toy. You can have him bashing around, place ultras going, and just ruining everything. So yeah, you can have Red King being a big menace, and I just like him. He feels nice. Definitely the most well done monster so far, in my opinion, for Blokees. But maybe he'll be dethroned. I don't know. There's plenty of other monsters to get to. Red King doesn't have to be the best of them all, but he's the best for now. So we'll just quickly get everything straightened up here, just like this. And now we will talk about the last figure of this wave, my boy, Jeed. One of my favorite Ultras. Would be my favorite Ultra if it weren't for Cosmos, just being as cool as he is. In the greatest form of Jeed, in my opinion, the coolest looking one, the Galaxy Rising. Such a cool design, such a nice looking Ultra, amazing name too, by the way, and he is awesome. He has the same morpher changer weapon thingy that this version of Z came with. Technically, I think I'm having him hold it upside down just because I wanted him to have his in the other hand, and I wanted the details still showing. So technically, I think he's holding it upside down, but whatever. He just looks so good. He is a bit bland from the back because the armor does still just clip on over normal Blokees legs. But he's been one of the better ones when it comes to this armor. It stays on pretty well for him. The only problems I've really had are the thighs sliding up and down, and sometimes I have had his shoulder pads come off just because if you push the shoulder articulation too far, they're going to get pushed off. That's just how it works. But he has stayed together so much better than a lot of the other armored figures I've had, and that makes me really happy because I really love this design and this character. And he's not really restricted aside from the shoulders, although he's not restricted as much as other characters because of that little bend that his shoulder pads have, so he can use his shoulders a lot better. And look at him, look at his detail, his color timer, the gold going through the chest, the dark blue on his body. He's got the little fins. He's got the circuitry detail in his thighs. He looks so cool. Ugh, this is just such an awesome design. And it's weird because there's really no reason for him to have a new design other than they wanted to sell a new toy when they decided they were going to have Jeed be a supporting character for a little bit of the Z series. Because there really isn't that much of an explanation to why he has a new form. Well, he's also got like this splash of yellow on his feet. I just knocked off one of his shoulder pads. Hang on, let me go get that. That's upside down. There we go. But dang, I'm glad they gave him this form. It just looks so good. Ugh. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the Jeed Wave. I say it like it's gonna be that hard. It's probably just gonna be up on eBay. Because I do want all the versions of Jeed, but at least I got my favorite one right here. I like him. I like him a lot. Favorite of the wave? Yeah, probably. I like Default Z a lot, though. I really like having his default form. But I do think I have to give it to Jeed, just because I like Jeed. I like Jeed! And I like the Galaxy Rising version of him, too. Like, especially. And I'm also really glad he got this form anyway, even if there isn't really a reason for it, because, like, his final form that he gets in his movie is, like, his ugliest form. Like, all the forms he gets in his show are pretty cool looking, even if I still think I like his default form the best out of the ones he has in the show. Then his movie form is ugly. So I'm really glad he got this to be his new final form, because it looks so awesome. Oh, there's no Ultra that looks as cool as this. So yeah, Jeed probably my winner of the wave. Just because I'm biased, okay? He's one of my favorite Ultras, and it's my favorite form of him. But overall, this has been another pretty stellar wave. Just the Barossa, bit of a stinker. So 8 out of 9. That's not bad. Very, very decent set here. Is everything perfect? No, some of them have problems. Some are popping open, but you can easily put them back together and stuff like that. But it's still a good set overall, and I think if you like Zet, whatever his name is, you should get this wave. It's a very, very good collective wave, and it's all about his show, except for this guy. It's all about his show, and also Trigger. Trigger's here for some reason. So, yeah, it's a very focused wave that's becoming more of a common thing as Ultraman Blokees goes on, and I know it kind of keeps being like that, because, I mean, I've seen all the other waves. I know what's in them. But, I just haven't gotten them yet. But I'll get the ones I want to get, and I'm continuing to have a lot of fun with Blokees, whether they be Transformers or Ultraman, and if anything, Blokees is helping me continue to get into Ultraman. It's very, very interesting that I just chose to get into Ultraman right around the time Blokees started showing itself to the rest of the world and not just China. It's like it was destiny or something, like it was fate. This is just a good wave. I like this wave a lot. I really like this wave. And I think I've rambled on enough here. So thank you all for watching, and see you guys around. Alpha Edge. That's what this one is called. Alpha Edge. Still not my favorite of his forms. Also, I think the chase is actually this one, the Defium Claw. So not a repaint of Rise Claw, but still pretty similar. I think that's what the chase actually was. Okay, the video's actually over now. Now I know, you're shocked. There was no dinosaur tank in this video. But I fooled you! Here he is! Yeah! Dinosaur tank! We always love dinosaur tank. Ultraman videos always have to have dinosaur tank. Come on, Blokees, give us a dinosaur tank! He is the greatest! The greatest!